The following video is sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook.
4 teams, 1 goal, make it to Las Vegas in just a few short weeks. With all eyes on the prize, I've teamed up with DraftKings, an official partner of the NFL, to get you in on all the action. Right now, new customers who bet just $5 will get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Yes, instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Sign up using my promo code Philly500 for your shot at the crown. That's right. New customers who bet just $5 will get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Wondering what you could use your $200 in bonus bets on? Combine multiple bets together from the same game for a shot at even bigger payouts. And if you've already signed up for DraftKings like me, you can get a no-sweat bet, get a bonus bet back if your same-game parlay or same-game parlay X bet doesn't hit. Maximum reward limits do apply. And if sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry about it. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports and have a chance to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use my promo code Philly500 and bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code Philly500 only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Once again, I'd like to thank DraftKings Sportsbook for sponsoring today's video. And remember, use promo code Philly500, bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly, only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Sonny, Joey, 500. Got some goats in the building. Get ready for a shakedown.
Prepare for a shakedown. We from Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down. Get ready for a shakedown. We underdogs, my guy. Kinda used to all the hate now. Prepare for it, man. Y'all get it. My QB got swag. My wideout is award winning. His fly was fly. Joey and 500. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Here's a quote you can sing back. Shake squad up and don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown.
Don't you frown!
It's
Here
a
comes the Shakedown!
Let's go.
Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here. Welcome to the Philly Shakedown podcast with your ugly host, Philly 500, and the better half, Joey Shakes. What's up, my man?
So, man, I feel like we haven't streamed in like forever together. I feel like it's been a while. I think because so much news has come out between coaching staff and there's a lot to go over today. I think we'll go over through a lot regarding the cap, regarding dead cap, regarding players that maybe will get restructured, released, traded. We'll kind of go through the whole thing here. But when we said the offseason was going to be a whirlwind, it has started to be a whirlwind. So,
oh yeah, this is going to be an active off season. There's no question about it. Let's say hi to some of the people in the chat. Frank Bales is here. DB Cooper, Rogue, Ken Lewis, Donkey Butter, Fat Fork is here. I love that name. Ramal, Cujo, Big D, Splenda, Philly Fan, Twits. What's going on? Ryan, Michael H, Steven, Robert, Mr. Internationally Known, Richie MC. What's going on? Timothy Looper, Steve, Daniel, and if anybody I missed, Bryce is here and Dennis is here. I see John Doe is back, freed from the last time out. How long will it take before he's timed out again? That's the question. But yeah, man, it's been a crazy. It's just been a crazy week, I mean, where do we even start? I guess the press conference is probably the best place to start, right? What were your thoughts on the press conference?
It really started. You really want to see just like, Nick Sirianni. We know he's staying. Okay, we were wondering if he was going to get fired or whatnot. I think there was clear vision he was going to stay. that press conference between Nick and Howie, it looked like Howie was babysitting him most of the time and kind of like making sure he was saying the right things. And Nick didn't really look too excited. Obviously, you're coming off of a really bad 7 weeks, and there were some things that I just really didn't like what Nick said, even when there were some good things that we heard, like, when you hire the OC in DC, they'll have control. And then he says, well, it's not the coordinator's offense, it's not the coordinator's defense. It's the Philadelphia Eagles offense and defense. And then I felt like he was going back and forth on a lot of things. And, what is your role going to be as a head coach? Like, I've never seen a head coach that has little to no control at all. And it seems like they're really not giving him much. And his role of what he said is, I'm going to make sure, we're going to keep the structure in the building, like, just very generic, the culture. That's all he said it like 2 times. I don't know. I think this is a prime hot seat year for Nick, and to see where this goes. And I guess we'll find out.
I agree. I felt like I actually felt uncomfortable watching him because he looked so uncomfortable at that press conference, and they don't tell you anything. They really they say nothing, and I don't think that they get pushed on anything too, And I get it. The media's not, they don't want to give up their NovaCare pass, but I just thought not really a lot of questions were answered. And Nick basically got neutered. I mean, he got his balls cut off and fed to him. That's what it looks like. I'm not calling the offense. I'm not defense. The best question was, the question, well, what do you do then? He's like, I'm the head coach, And listen, there are coaches that don't do all that, but I don't know. It didn't look comfortable. And, he's got less power than he had last year, and I'm curious to know how much control he has or say he has in the offensive coordinator, in the defensive coordinator, because I don't think he has any say. I think he is going to be basically just trying to manage everybody and let the coaches coach,
And even if the coordinators have control, I mean, Nick even mentioned, well, whatever's worked for the Eagles the last few years, there'll be some mesh concepts. I'm going to, now we're starting to think that Nick is going to start to tiptoe his way in and sneak his way into these coordinators to give his game plan or to give some ideas towards the offense, which I really hope that doesn't happen. And secondly, with Sean Desai and the firing, it sort of looked like, not the firing, obviously moved up to the booth and put Matt Patricia as DC, but it seemed like Howie was like, well, he came to me with the idea and I accepted it.
Ain't no way.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it may have went that way. I don't know.
I don't believe that for how he put his Napoleon hat on and went right down there, and he said, you're gonna fire this guy. Oh man. Yeah, he totally let Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni sitting there like this. He looked like
he looked horrible.
See Mike Tyson? Was it like Barbara Walters interview where he had Robin Givens was still his wife, and she's like, he beats me and he hits me, and they're showing Mike, and he's just sitting there like totally drugged out. And that's what Nick Sirianni looked like to me. Okay, it was bad, dude. It was bad. And the thing is there's nothing he can do. You got to wonder though this, because he didn't call the plays in Indianapolis as the offensive coordinator. He comes to Philly, he goes 2-5, he gives the play calling to Steichen, right? I think he thought he had more like leverage than what he did. I think he thought, well, I have leverage. I just took this team to Super Bowl. I'm going to call my plays and I'm going to run my offense. And he didn't listen to anybody. That's what I think really happened, dude.
He cut his nose despite his face. That's pretty much what happened. The cockiness conceded, and it all came down to the last 7 weeks, really the whole season, because, I mean, this gauntlet of games that we've had that we were really worried about the meat and potatoes of that specific time. When we started with Miami, we were like, oh man, we're really nervous about what's going to happen. But they were barely winning games. We never had one dominant game, one dominant 4 quarters of football this year. And it really started to worry us. Like, why aren't these first halves being more productive? You have the offensive roster. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think they got away and they won a lot of close games because they were just more talented than the other teams.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point when the team started to really not believe in the message anymore, that's when you saw the collapse. And I think the Desai thing was all she wrote, you know. Ray says cringy press Nick, absolutely. Fabio Davis super chat, my man. He goes, Jarvis for a number 3 wide receiver, great hands. Did Jarvis even play this year?
I don't think he did. No,
he wanted too much money. You know, it's kind of crazy. Is this yours or mine?
I think it's yours.
Mine. Ian 890, welcome to Dingbat Superfans, man. Thank you so much for joining, man. Appreciate you so much. So yeah, the press conference, you know, it did. They shouldn't even have done it.
Okay, so we're waiting. We'll probably get into the next bit of news. I think we're going to be done with this. So 25 minutes into the press conference, 25 minutes before it even started. No one showed up yet, right?
Yeah,
empty. It was like cuckoo. It was like birds in the wind.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like, they come back, and then during the press conference, apparently Vic Fangio parted ways with Miami all of a sudden.
Right. All of a sudden.
So you know.
Yeah. That's why they were late for the press conference. Because it didn't matter. As soon as Vic Fangio came up as defensive coordinator, which we will use that right there. Joey worked on all these fancy graphics, by the way. They look great. But yeah, you know, as soon as Vic Fangio became available, that's who they wanted. That's who they wanted all along. You know, and the thing is this. I don't know. I see it 2 different ways. Like, I feel like that I've already done all my complaining about Nick Sirianni, about what they're doing, about it's like, how much can you do of that? You know what happened. So now you just got to move forward. I mean, I would have loved to see. I was really excited about the prospects of like Wink Martindale or even Ron Rivera. I mean, that was like, yeah, I like that. Let's go. But they're going to go back to Vic, and at least I'll say this with Vic Fangio. I think he's a good coach. I don't particularly like his scheme, but I think he's a good coach, and I think he'll get a way more out of the guys that we got out of last year, you know.
Yeah, there's an accountability aspect to him. And, you know, he's going to come in and he's going to get the right coaches on the staff. He's going to come in. He's going to get the right players for the – or if you put him on this team right now as the defensive coordinator, which he is now, like, you don't have the players for this scheme. He's going to look at this roster and say, I don't want this guy. We're going to have to get rid of him. He's not going to work for this scheme. And there's going to be a lot of players. Don't be surprised if there's some surprise cuts off this team where you think a certain player is going to stay here. But from reputation-wise, or even from last year's standpoint, a top 10 defense with injuries that calculated defensively over time last season at the end of the season. And on top of everything else, like, he was third in pressures with that defensive line. So I think they tried to get Sean Desai because he was the closest thing to Fangio that they could hire, you know, a defensive quality control guy for a few years under Fangio as his apprentice. And then, you know, as a defensive coordinator in Chicago in 21, they try to get the closest guy, but why not get the best guy of the Fangio system? It's Vic Fangio. I'm not a fan of the scheme. I don't like it, but I think the accountability, and from what I've, you know, players today, like players that come to the league today, when they have too much of everything, they start to decline. Yeah. If it's a lot of players that don't have enough, they quit too easily. And I think a lot of players under this scheme just can't handle it sometimes. I think with Vic Fangio in the building, you're going to see a more competent group.
Well, you know, there was a lot of talk that in Miami, some of the players were upset and they thought it was too much and they were kind of glad he's gone. And I'm thinking, I'm kind of glad they don't like it. Like, I think we kind of need somebody a little bit tough because Miami was a soft team.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a soft team. Let's be honest, you know. Skidmark says, Howie has a plan to trade for Surtain because Vic drafted him when head coach at Denver. I just got a big chubby thinking about that. Well, thank you for sharing that second part of it. Man, listen, I don't know if Denver would trade for him, but I would take him in a second. Holy shit. What
Oh,
the?
damn, David.
Holy shit. David Barnes, man. Holy crap, man. We thank you so much. What
Definitely,
a generous super chat, man.
Thank you.
Shout out to you, man. Thank you. Man, I gotta mod him up.
Oh, yeah.
He says, yeah, he's gotta get moderate. We gotta mod him up so we know when he's in here. He says, next Philly Shakedown fan interaction.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm open to that. Joey is something we can definitely talk about. Doing a fan interaction. Thank you so much once again for the super chat. It's very, very generous of you, man.
Thank you, David.
We appreciate that. Thank you. Michael says he heard Fangio loves Bradbury. Well, if he can make him play better, I mean, geez. Worry about your team tomorrow, buddy. D-Jar, thank you for super chat. He goes, Vic Fangio ain't too bad. Denard Wilson is the one I wanted for DC. I think that ended up being the big mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Eagles shouldn't have let him go. You wonder, you kind of wonder, like these strong-willed guys. I don't know. I don't know. You know, it's hard for me to see, like, as an example, to look at a guy like Seth Joyner and seeing how the Eagles would deal with him, you know, as a coordinator. I mean,
they need a prick. They need an asshole. That's what they need on this team. Because how many altercations have we seen? Like if guys aren't tackling well, how many DCs in this league right now would be chewing out their defense? I mean, you don't even see it. I mean, you didn't even see it last year. I mean, it's crazy.
Edward, what's up, my man? How are you?
Edward.
Yeah, I agree. But I think the good thing about Fangio is that if you're going to have somebody run the system, it might as well be him. The other thing is I think having a guy who's had 12 years of experience, right, in the NFL and was a head coach, I think Nick Sirianni needs that. I don't think he needs two young coordinators with less experience than him. So I think that's good. And here's my other thing, okay? And I kind of started a little uproar in my video the other day over this because people think I'm batshit crazy. But I actually believe the Eagles are going to really go after linebackers this year. I believe Vic Fangio is going to want linebackers. Mm-hmm. And if you watch the press conference, the other thing I took out of it was when Howie made sure to say, I know that people say we don't value linebackers. That really bothers him. Like, that really bothered him. So I actually think we're going to get some line. I think I would not be surprised if you see a Patrick Queen here or an early second round drafting of a linebacker. You know,
look at the experienced linebacker coaches that they're already trying to hire right now in Joe Barry and Mike Caldwell. Mike Caldwell played for the Eagles in '98, and he went through Andy Reid's staff. And look what Mike Caldwell did with Levante David and Devin White as a linebackers coach for the Bucs. Did a really fantastic job. And Joe Barry and Mike Caldwell have been horrible DCs. They're pretty much their whole career. They've been more successful. Joe Barry, you know, under Sean McVay for 4 years as a linebacker coach before he took over and failed as a DC, as a linebacker coach, they won a Super Bowl within those 4 years. So
they're already really beefing up. They really look like they're trying to make a change at the linebacker, and you have to. You can't ignore that position anymore, man. You just can't. You just can't do it. Fabio Davis super chat. He goes, Eric on Washington offensive coordinator, did not like him either. You don't like. See, that's the guy I want them to get as offensive coordinator. I want Bieniemy. I do. I think he would be great. You know. So the Fangio thing, I guess, at the end of the day, I mean, it's not the scheme. I think we both agree that we like. But if you're going to run it, it might as well be Vic Fangio.
Yeah,
that's fair to say. Yeah,
I agree.
Green Blaze the Fly Eagle says, "Hey guys, 500. I know you are a Sixers fan, but Joey, are you a Sixers fan too?"
Yeah, I am. I don't watch every game. I try to watch, just busy during the week. I try to catch games when I can, but I am.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. And thank you for the super chat. Did you see they hired Kellen Moore? Ooh. The Eagles didn't. I don't think the Eagles are going to hire Kellen Moore, and I don't really want him, to be honest with you. What do you think of Kingsbury?
I really like him a lot.
I do too. See, I don't mind getting a guy like that. I would take a chance on that.
Well, the Kingsbury thing is good because the guy knows how to open up the passing game, knows how to use tight ends, knows how to use wide receivers.
He uses a lot of crossing routes too, which we don't run.
And he has a connection to Lincoln Riley from Oklahoma as well, where Jalen Hurts played, played for Oklahoma. So, and how to use Jalen Hurts in a specific way. And I don't know why the Eagles didn't look at tape from Shane Steichen's offense last year. Why? I don't think they did, obviously, from what we looked at the whole entire year. But Cliff Kingsbury right now, I think, is the leading OC candidate as we speak from rumors. So,
yeah. John Doe says, why block? John Doe, if you know somebody's blocking unfairly, let me know. Let me know. I don't believe in blocking. Fabio Davis Super Chat goes, players of Washington had issues with them. Well, that's the thing, though. It's like all these guys have issues with being coached. You know, I think about what Hargrave said about the Eagles practices compared to the 49ers practices. Remember, he said that we're soft. Our practices are soft. I think a guy that is going to get, especially this team, I think a guy who's going to get under their skin, I think that's what they need. And from all accounts, everything you hear about Jalen Hurts, like he also, apparently he likes coaches that coach him very hard. So,
I don't I don't see coaches even pushing Jalen Hurts. I've never seen that. I've seen Jalen Hurts have that smug look on his face, sit on the bench by himself, and is away from everybody. So, I mean, a lot of changes are going to be made. I mean, you don't even have a quarterback. I mean, they're Alex Tanney's gone. They're going to be getting a new quarterback coach. So there's going to be I'm excited to see who they get at OC. I think we're going to get something better than Jim Bob Cooter. So that's all that matters.
Jim Bob Cooter is the total front office move. It's a total front office. Now, how much wait, hold on. They blocked my account for Kenny Pickett. Well, please don't block his account for saying stuff about Kenny Pickett. If he wants to live in delusion of Kenny Pickett, so be it. Slick, David Super Chat goes, what about Devin White in free agency? Bucks can bring him back if they pay Winfield Jr. Do you think he's fallen off, though?
Devin White?
Like, there's a lot of people that think he's not the same player he was a few years ago.
He's been released. I mean, he's been replaced by, I forgot what the guy's name was, but he hasn't really started in a lot of games. I mean, Levante David's too old. He's, 33 now? So, I mean, the Eagles would go after a guy like that. But, I think he's just fallen off a little bit. And
how about
I don't know.
Patrick Queen?
That would be a big one.
That would be nice. Yeah. That would be nice.
We say these names now, and people don't believe. Like, I'm telling you, every time we mention some names and we hit. It happens.
Oh, well, they only remember the things that you mess up, that you hit.
Right.
But that's okay. But the thing is you gotta. The one thing I'll say, and I said this in my video, there is no doubt in my mind that the Eagles are going to be aggressive. I think you're going to see a very, very aggressive offseason. And if you look in previous years, when Howie Roseman is really aggressive, the Eagles win more games. I think you're going to see it. I think they were hamstrung last year because of their cap. I think they've got a lot more room to wiggle. And I think I really would not be surprised if you see a big signing like a Brian Burns free agency type guy. Let me just put up their you got the cap thing here. Let's put that up. So that's a cap space that we have as of current, right? Mm-hmm. And you can make moves like cut Bayard, right? And that would free up like what, 14 million or something.
Do you have that slide too? Because I sent you a slide of all the players.
Yeah, I have that.
Okay.
Let me see here. Here it is, right here, right? Is that it? The one you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. So Bayard would be a post June 1st. He'd have to be post June, right? Mm-hmm. 14 million. That's not bad. And it's and then you said so. Avante Maddox 7.1 million. You can do two June post cuts, right? I think you're allowed 2.
Oh, there's a limit on it? I didn't know there was a limit on that.
Well, there might be a limit. I'm not sure if there's a limit on. No, I don't think there's a limit on June. I think that you can do them early. So you could do it in January or in March, but it won't kick in till then. I think you can do it early for 2.
Realistically with these players here, I don't think they're going to do all these moves. I mean, I think some are definitely because this involves Jason Kelce, who's already restructured 2.3 million. I thought the Mulatto one already happened this year. I remember us talking about he got restructured for that. I think that already happened.
Who's that?
Jordan Mulatto was restructured.
I'm not sure. I can't remember. The one that I think you're going to see is the Hassan Reddick ain't going nowhere. No. I don't believe it. I think they're going to give him a new contract that'll
potential holdout though. You think?
I think if they were unwilling to pay him, I think there would be, but I don't see how they can allow that to happen. Like they've got to take care of him. He's your best guy. I mean, Josh Sweat didn't have a great year. Brandon Graham's older. I mean, who else do you have?
Yeah, the defensive line hit a wall by the way your secondary is playing. So
they did. I think you need to get Hassan Reddick fixed and then go out and get like another guy.
But
I still think you need another guy.
Yeah, but when you look at you definitely need another premier edge rusher, no doubt. But I think when you're looking at this list, I think Byard's going to be a tough one. But he's got one more year left. But I think he's a big cap casualty. Like he's a big chunk of change you can get back and get younger at with that money. I mean,
Byard. I think Byard's
yes,
gone.
I think he's done. A lot of people. A lot of people in the comment sections of the video I made on the cap space and the players that could leave, a lot of people were pissed off that why would they get rid of Byard? Why? Hey, look, Fangio has to look at this defense and say, does this guy fit the scheme? You know what I mean? Just because it's Kevin Byard doesn't mean he can play who knows? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think
I'd rather bring C.J. Gardner-Johnson back. He's a free agent,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he restructures and that's fine, but they're not gonna have that much cap space available to them.
True.
And he didn't do enough. What did he do for us?
Couldn't cover tight ends. Couldn't.
He stunk.
This wasn't great.
David Barnes, David Super J goes, we have a tough schedule this upcoming year. AFC North, Rams, Jaguars. If we don't shape up 2-15 record. Oh my gosh.
I don't think the schedule. I don't think the opponents look as bad as everyone thinks. Like
no, I don't think so either.
No,
to be honest, I don't have it right in front of me, unfortunately. But a slow start means the end of Sirianni. When you have a coordinator like Vic Fangio right there, it's very easy to say, "All right, interim coach." Eric Rubin, David Super Chat goes, "Sup Philly, sup Joey." Appreciate y'all. Appreciate you too, man. Thank you for being here. And thank you so much for the super chat, man. We appreciate it.
And here's another thing: you got to figure out. There's a couple things you have to look at here. The obviously Vontae Maddox. It's a definitely no brainer. They have to cut him post June, just because. I mean, you can't. He's a $10 million cap hit this year. There's no way they're going to hold on to him. He's been hurt way too much. He's got no availability. You have Isaiah Rodgers coming into the mix, and you have
that's the guy, baby. I'm telling you, that's a big upgrade already.
Yeah, and McPherson's coming back off injury as well. So I mean, you lost your starting nickel and you lost your backup. So it hurt the team because all they did was kind of they flirted with Bradbury moving to the inside early in the year, and then they started using Eli Ricks, and they started using Keely Ringo and Josh Jobe. They started rotating too many guys. We didn't have any stability in the secondary. Plus, the injuries didn't help either.
Right.
But when you look at even like Dallas Goedert, they could definitely do it. But I don't think the Eagles really have a definite number 2. Jack Stahl is a free agent. Albert O, that you traded for and did nothing with him, a healthy scratch most weeks, free agent. So you don't even
forgot you were there.
Yeah. Forgot you were there. It's true though. You kept 4 tight ends on the roster, and Dallas Goedert's always. And I know the injury wasn't his fault this year; he had a broken forearm. But there's always going to be that injury. Dallas Goedert's going to miss 4 to 5 weeks, and you don't have You don't have that number 2 that can go right in there, like a Trey Burton that can go right in there and play and not miss a beat. And that's a big problem too.
Right. Yeah. I think what we'll see is I think you'll see something with Reddick before free agency. I think they're going to re-sign him. I think they're going to extend him, whatever, and it'll set up a big cap space. I just don't see how you could let Reddick go.
No.
I mean, the guy's the only guy that does anything. The only reason Reddick didn't do anything at the end of the year is because of Patricia. Patricia took him out of the game.
When did Josh Sweat get a sack in the last 6 games? I forgot what game it was. It was late. He got a sack, and before that, he didn't get a sack.
It was the Giants game.
Yeah,
the Giants game.
It might have been. And then before that, he didn't get a sack from week 9. I mean,
yeah. And so these are all the free agents, right? That we have, right? These guys are all gone. So Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham. I think Brandon Graham's coming back one more year.
True.
I think he's going to come because I don't think he wants to go anywhere. I think he wants to play. Mariota's probably gone. Unfortunately, DeAndre Swift is probably gone. And he'll probably go somewhere like Kansas City. He's coming back. And be like, I hope so.
He's coming back.
It's really hard to know offensively anything because you don't know who your coordinator. Until you know who your coordinator is, you don't really know what to think or what's going to happen on offense.
Kenny G.
Oh, God. That nightmare just will not end for me. DeAndre Swift, he's a free agent. Paul Scott's a free agent. Zach Cunningham's a free agent. Howie was very complimentary of Zach Cunningham, a little too much.
Yeah,
and I don't think Cunningham was necessarily bad, but he was good amongst a bad group of linebackers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You dipped in the free agency 3 times. So you had Miles Jack, Zach Cunningham, Rashad Evans. I mean, it didn't stop. But from the Howie press conference as well, he was like, I trust the guy. When he talked about linebackers, I talked about Zach Cunningham, all the great positive stuff. He said, I trust the guys in this room. It's unfortunate for Nakobe Dean. And I'm going to say to myself right now that I'm going to ignore Kobe Dean's even on this team until he actually shows something where I'm just saying, dude, he's got no availability. I mean, at this point, he missed the whole fucking year pretty much.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Somebody says, the thing is, I don't know what Nakobe Dean is. I like the kid. I think he's a great kid, and I want him to be well, but he's got to stay healthy and play. And so I'm not going to say he's a bust. I'm not going there. But it's not looking good right now. I mean, let's just be honest. We're not getting anything out of him. Whether that's injury or he's not playing, whatever it is, he's not playing.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But, Cunningham's a free agent. Justin Evans is a free agent. Shaq Leonard, a free agent. I think all those guys are gone. Sua Opeta, I think, is gone. Rashad Penny, I mean, God forbid, why would he's definitely gone. Zacchaeus, do you think they bring, see, it's hard to know. I can't even say, are they going to bring him in? We don't even know who the coordinator is.
Yeah, no, I mean, none of these, we don't know anything until we find out what coordinator is going to be at the position, and then the types of players that they've had in the past with those offenses that they've controlled. But you talk about wide receiver. Go ahead.
No, I'm just reading this ridiculous thing. It cracks me up. I'm going to put it there so everybody can enjoy the comment. Oh, my beloved. You should see her. She looks good. Yeah, it's gone. Nicholas Morrow, gone. Albert O.
They got to figure tight end out. They got to figure out.
Braden Mann has to come back, dude.
Yes.
He was awesome.
He was great.
He was awesome.
He was fucking awesome.
Jack, I would bring Driscoll back. I would try to bring Driscoll back, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he's not the greatest, but he can play multiple positions if need be. Sean Bradley, I think he's gone. Quez is gone. And I think Jack Stahl's gone too, to be quite honest with you.
No. Jack Driscoll. No, I mean, yeah, Jack. Because I always get Jack Stahl and Jack Driscoll mixed up. I always get their names mixed up all the time. So you're saying Jack Driscoll's gone, stays?
No, I think he should. I think that. Well, I don't know if he's going to stay or not, but I think they should try to bring him back because of his ability to play multiple positions on the offensive line.
Sua Opeta's got to come back. He plays both guard spots. He's
Well,
one
they're
of our better
probably not.
backups.
I mean, how expensive can they be?
Not much. It's not gonna be much. It's very cheap, so I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, Antonio says we got to keep Swift.
God, don't even bring Boston Scott back. Don't fucking waste your time. Don't waste your time. Like, there's no point. Kick returns don't matter anymore. Really, in my eyes, kick returns don't even matter at this point. You don't even use Boston Scott during this year. But I'm telling you, for DeAndre Swift to hit just over 1,000 yards the second to last game of the season, I mean, just over 1,000. I mean, underutilized, taken out of the passing game. I mean, I want to see what, like, Cliff Kingsbury, one of these guys could do with him. Like, there's just so much more we can unveil with him.
Yeah.
Wasn't enough.
Tortyville says, honestly, Driscoll is just meh. I think Stoutland can develop other offensive lines similar. He probably can. You know, I just like the idea. I'm very big on linemen that play multiple positions. I just think that's so valuable because, you know, injuries happen. Chris Brown, David Super Chat goes, we land Cliff Kingsbury, we'll keep Swift. Dean sucks. Thank you for Super Chat.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think it's really hard to know which way this offense goes right now. I mean, dude, there's been I'm seeing reports about the Eagles are going to pursue Saquon Barkley. I'm thinking, how could that possibly be when you don't even know who your coordinator is? Yeah. How could that possibly be?
Howie's wish list, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even think Howie wishes. He'll just draft him. He'll draft him. That to me, that they have to spend money and resources on defense. Your offense is pretty much that. You have to get linebackers. See, I mean, we're just talking. You know, we the draft boards are going to go their certain way. Senior bowls take place. Things will change. But like if I was talking about what to get in the draft, you know, I would say my first 3 picks, I would probably like to go cornerback, 1, and then 2 linebackers. Like I think you have to invest a lot in your linebackers.
Yeah, it's hard for me to think that they would go back to back at the same position, and especially in the second round.
I do too.
You know?
That's an old Buddy Ryan. He did it with Fred Barnett and Calvin Williams, just drafted receivers. Like I would love to see something like that. Just look, you don't want to pay the linebackers in free agency. Then just draft a couple really early so they're there 4 years. However, if you could sign a guy like a Patrick Queen, that would change everything.
Now, yeah. So technically, like if you added, like, say, all those moves, you know, you have cap space of north of 28 million. So if you added all those moves, and by the way, the dead cap is the funniest thing because guess how much of the $4 million is towards a specific player, the player you hate the most. It's not even here right now.
Oh, Derek Barnett, right?
He counts $4 million against the cap, a little over 4, and I think Kyron Johnson is the rest of the cap for the dead cap. So,
oh my God, Derek Barnett drives me even more nuts after he left. Like what?
Oh no, I was waiting for you to say something.
Oh, he drives me more nuts after leaving. He goes to Houston, has a couple good games, and all I get is, what do you think of Derek Barnett now? I bet you want Derek Barnett back now. Hell no, I don't want Derek Barnett back now. He did it like, what, 2 games in 5 years?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. Let him go out and have 15, 16 sacks 3 years in a row, and then we'll talk.
Yeah, people are asking about Chauncey. I think Chauncey's going to sign a big deal. He's probably going to sign a big. I don't know, actually. Yeah,
well,
maybe.
he didn't play. He didn't play a lot this year because of the injury. I think he'll be affordable. The question is
the bridge burnt? Is the bridge burnt?
Yeah, right. That's the question.
Yeah. So you think free agency wise? So I was talking about the cap before. I was confused for a second. So they're north of 28 million. So with the moves that they can make, they could probably free up. They could free up if they really went all out. They could probably free up close to $40 million, or probably even more than that. Probably even more at this point.
I mean, no, go ahead.
Do you think that at least they'll have enough money to, and they don't really have cap, even 20 north of 28 is really not bad. They really never have this much cap. So if they get close to 50 million with all the other moves they're going to make, do you think there's going to be that one what's the big bonus signing? What's going to be the big signing? The guy they're going to go after? Not even the guy, but what position do you think? Do you think it's going to be more safety than linebacker, or you think linebacker than safety?
I think the two big positions in the free agent, I think they're going to be two major signings, and they can definitely get money. I mean, they were like $28 million or $30 million over the cap, and then all of a sudden we have $50 million. They could easily get $60 million. They're going to be fine with the cap. I'm not even worried about the cap.
Right.
I honestly think the two big positions, and we'll see. We'll see when we know who the free agents are. But I think they're going to make a splash. I think you're going to see a guy like a Brian Burns and a corner. So I'm going to say a pass rusher and a cornerback are going to be the big moves.
Yeah, there's a few safeties and linebackers from Miami, too, that might want to play in Fangio's scheme. You got to remember guys that played with Fangio and probably like his scheme. There's probably guys that really love it, so you never know.
I mean, we need linebackers. We do, but we got to fix the pass rush. Our pass rush was non-existent the second half of the year.
No.
And the only guy that produced was Hassan Reddick. You can't have that. So, to me, I think they've got to invest in another pass rusher. I mean, that their bread and butter is that pass rush. So if it's not getting home, then of course, listen, James Trashberry is going to look even really bad if you don't have a pass rush. They had no pass rush. They were the worst. I think they were the worst team in the league on third downs getting sacked.
And I think everyone's making a big deal out of Bradbury's contract because it's really, I think he's only like a $4 million cap hit this year. And I think it'd be like, if they extend him, it would be like 5 for the next, like, if they extended him like another 2 years, just say, and then cut him, and then this way you distribute that dead money for the next few years. I think it's totally doable. And I don't know if Fangio is going to look at this and say, I mean, I'm already kind of fed up with Slay. I'm kind of fed up with both. I'm kind of fed up with the back seven at this point. Like, I'm already fed up with both cornerbacks.
I'm not going to lie.
A lot of shit that was, you see true colors. You see the true colors of a lot of players when you start losing. And Slay really pissed us off a couple of times. First, not tackling a certain way, and I'm not going to play like this because of my health, and I want to be there for my kids. And dude, then just retire. You came back to the Eagles, almost signed with the Ravens for more money, and now you won't even tackle. You put on that. You signed, dude. That's the name of the game, dude. Don't matter what age you are. You put on that football helmet for any franchise. They want you to play 100%, and he just didn't do that. Then he had another comment right before the Tampa Bay game. Oh, I'm glad we're not playing at home. I'm glad we're not playing at home. I don't want to get booed. Like who says shit like that? It's just, and Bradbury don't say a goddamn thing all year, and he's just getting burnt nonstop. I think go ahead.
I think Bradbury wakes up in cold sweats. I think seeing Juju Smith-Schuster. I think that Super Bowl ruined him. I think it totally destroyed him.
It might have been. It might be. That might be it. And I think the pass rush last year, I mean, in 22, I think definitely benefited your secondary. I mean, look, I mean, the faster your line can get to the quarterback, I mean, it's less time that the corners have to cover for that long, and it's less to worry about.
And Denard Wilson was our secondary coach, right? And he goes to Baltimore. They're pretty damn good over there. I mean, that was the mistake. They should have hired him.
That's Nick Sirianni.
Philly Boy Floyd, yeah. With this defense scheme, you have to have linebackers that can cover and have speed.
Yes.
If Dean can stay healthy, he might play out this defense. Yeah, I mean, he's got to. I think Dean's got to stay healthy, and I think he's got to get a little bit bigger. I don't know what they list him at, but I'm betting you he looks like he's about 210 pounds. He looks 210, 215. There's no way he's 230. Ain't no way. No. I know a lot of people were giving me shit saying, "Oh, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is too small. He's only 6 foot, 235 pounds." So what do you think Ray Lewis was coming out of draft? 6 foot, 235 pounds. What is Patrick Queen? 230 pounds. 6 foot. Same size.
Look at some of Fangio's red zone defense, just as an example last year. Just look at some tape of his defense, and it's so crazy. They'll move everybody back, but the athletic ability that they have at linebacker, they stopped almost everybody. I mean, the tackling is just on point. I mean, it's just as soon as they get a hand on somebody, they're down. They barely miss tackles, and that scheme, the scheme pisses people off because it takes away from, I think, more players' abilities because you're defending an area more than anything. So I get that aspect of it. But if you're a stout defense that you're going in the right direction, you know, and how they're coached. And it comes down to the coaching. It comes down to accountability. It comes down to Fangio's going to come in, get his own coaches, get more experienced coaches. And, you know, he's not going to sit there and keep all these players that we have. The guys are – there's no way he's favorite. And he was here with us in 22. He knows a lot of the players, knows the coaching staff, you know, so it fits. As much as we don't like it, it fits. I don't know. It's
no. Yeah, Dad says Ray Lewis 6'1". Nah, see, 6 foot. If you go look at his combine, he's 6 foot. He's exactly 6 foot. A lot of times that they list these guys bigger than what they are. You know, and you know, maybe he grew an inch. I don't know, but even if for argument's sake, Ray Lewis was 6'1", and that if that's massive, then 6 foot is fine. So I don't know why anybody would say that Jeremiah Trotter is too small when he's literally the same size as Ray Lewis and Patrick Queen coming out of college. I don't agree at all. Ray Lewis is 6'1", 2. He's not 6'1" unless he grew. Go look at his draft. Listen, the NFL they literally put the combine results up. He measured in at 6 foot 230, maybe 235. So it's basically the same size as what's his face? They list Dean at like 230 pounds. He's not 230. He's like 215. If you see him without like pads on, he looks like a safety. He looks like a safety. He doesn't look like a linebacker. Keys to Life, David Super Chat goes, what about L'Jarius Shee in free agency?
No.
You don't like him?
I like him. I think he's a pushback player. He plays tough, but do we really want to go down that rabbit hole and sign big money to cornerbacks? I think we're done with that. I really don't think they'll go. I mean, he's going to be the best corner, I think, on the market, and there's no way. There's no way.
Yeah. Let me see here. It's all over the radio here. What's all over the radio? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Bubba? What are we talking about? Ultra Cowboy says the best linebacker in the draft is Edrin Cooper, linebacker. I'll have to check him out. I mean, I haven't even dove into the draft stuff yet, but I can just tell you what positions we need, and you know, we'll see. We'll see. I think linebacker is a position they've got to actually take care of, though. You know.
Yeah, sure.
Dean, Maddox, Brownmore are too small for coverage. Agreed. So if Dean isn't 230 based on listening, then Ray Lewis is just 6 foot. No, I mean Ray Lewis is literally the best. I have to explain this. The best results to know what somebody's size really is, like in terms of height, is the combine, because the combine puts their true numbers. But when they get to the team and then they do their programs and they put it out, they're always a little bit bigger. That's just the case. But are we really talking about 1 inch? I mean, we're not measuring cocks really here. Stupid. I mean, we're not measuring cocks here. All right. I mean, 1 inch, a guy's 1 inch smaller, so he can't play in the leagues too small. Come on. It's ridiculous. DJ, David Super Chat. I mean, listen, if you want to say Trotter's not that good, he's just not that good. Fine. But he's not, but size is not a problem. Pause.
Right.
All right. DJ, David Super Chat goes, it's a shame you got to show these dudes how to tackle. More than likely, they spend all their lives playing football. They know how to tackle, but they quit. When they quit and they didn't care, that tackling and the effort that we saw, especially in that Tampa game, that was just a result of that, in my opinion, you know?
Yeah, it's been a lot of games this year. I mean, not even getting ringed down the sideline for it. It's the worst tackling I've ever seen in my life in a football team. It never gets better. Yeah.
Chris Brown, David Super Chat goes, Dean looks like a hobbit, not scary. Need a beast. You need a beast. Listen, I like Dean coming out. I'm not gonna trash Dean. I'm not. I'm just gonna say that I hope he can stay healthy, and we'll see what he can do.
No,
but so far we have not gotten anything from him.
Well, yeah, I mean, But look, I mean, you can't miss joint practices and you make it to one last preseason. I mean, he missed the most important time where he could have been getting better, and just being thrown to the regular season didn't help his case. And sorry to say, he didn't really play that well, So,
Right.
He missed valuable time. You missed that off-season time. It hurts. It hurts you, no doubt.
It does. Dad says, I love Trotter, but he will never draft Trotter in the first or second round. Never gonna. Definitely not in the first round.
No.
I think in the second round there is. I mean, they drafted Michael Kendricks a few years ago in the second round. Oh, a long time ago now, but maybe you're right. But I think that this is the year that if there's ever a year that they were going to take care of the linebacking position, I think this is it. If it doesn't happen this year, it's never going to happen under Howie Roseman. 60 birthday for Super Che goes, I'm going to be upset if we go offensive line in the first. Give me the best defensive back available. Sign a stud linebacker in free agency. Fangio will use everyone to their strength. I understand the frustration. I won't get upset about offensive linemen in the first. Like, just as long as he's clearly better than the guy at the other position. Just get the best guy,
Yeah, you're looking for best player available at this point, so...
Yeah. These crazy cats here. Ray Lewis is 5'9", 235. I don't know. Oh God. I don't want to have to pull it up. Pause. But just go look at his combine results. All my point is that these guys are in similar position. You got to go look at the combine. If you go just look up regular stuff, it's going to say 6'1", 240. But if you go look at the combine, it's actually 6 foot. It's over 6 foot, just over 6 foot.
Maybe they just maybe they don't do and a half. Maybe they just put. Maybe he was 6.5. Maybe he was. Maybe I don't know.
There was a tight end for Washington, right? And he was listed at 250 pounds. And me and him almost got into it one time, right? At a hockey game. And there was no way he was as big as they said, because I was bigger than him. I was tall. I was as tall as him, and probably weighed about the same, which was about 220. So I don't believe these guys always get the same size. I think you have to look at the combine results. I think that's the best way to know what their actual height is. I mean, unless you're still growing, I mean, whatever. But
yeah, I'm seeing the same thing.
Go to you have to type in. Let me see if I have it here. If you type in Ray Lewis draft combine results, or even Patrick Queen's, we're talking about all these guys, including Trotter. They're all basically the same size. My point is that Trotter is big enough to play in the NFL. Screaming Jerry Lee, thank you for super chat. He goes, Trotter Jr. is the pick, better than Parsons. Screaming Jerry Lee says, I like it. Ray Lewis is 4'11", 140 pounds. Never mind, that's Emmanuel Lewis. Yeah, I see people talking about AJ Brown trade. I think that is complete and utter nonsense.
What is with that?
I don't understand where that's coming from. Maybe that's what Bubba meant, said it's all over WFP, because I think the radio has been talking a lot about it. I keep getting these articles saying Eagles trade idea to the Colts and whatever. It's like, AJ Brown's not going anywhere. They spent a first-round pick on him and paid him a lot of money. I don't think AJ Brown was the problem. Why would we want to get rid of him? I don't understand that.
You get rid of him. If you get rid of him, you better get some good picks. You better charge like 3 first-round picks for him. I'm not even kidding.
Right. Desro South Davis Super Che goes, I'm not a fan of Cliff Kingsbury, and Jalen will no longer be able to run. They're going to turn him into McNabb. Get Nick a beach chair. Beach chair, I like it. Fabio, thank you for Super Chat. Goes, I want Luke Kuechly prime. Best. Oh, he was great linebacker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been nice to get him too, but I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I mean, if the Eagles literally, if they go out there and they go real cheap at linebacker, we're going to just have the same exact issues we did.
No. You can't do a 1-year deal. I don't mind 1-year deals, but you can't make 1-year deals your whole entire position.
No.
They just can't do it.
They only did that. They only did that because they didn't have money last year. I think they got more money. I think we're going to be very active. I do. And Gotti David Super Chat. He goes, if I see what I saw the last 7 weeks, all of next season, I'm going to the Nova Care Complex and establish that entire football team with uppercuts. Can you film it? I want to see you landing. I want to see you landing uppercuts. Listen, if they come out like that, there's no chance that Nick Sirianni makes it past week 3.
It might not look, and we're gonna make the excuse for the first game that it could be a slow start. It could be, because your first game is always a toss up because of it's the first game and that's it. But if we see the next, we're gonna be very critical of the week 2, week 3, week 4. If things are just not, we're seeing that we're gonna find out if Nick is involved in this damn offense. And it already freaked me out that he says he wants to, he's gonna try to put in some of his own things that we've been successful at the last 3 years. That makes me really nervous. I'm hoping he doesn't. So I don't know what we're doing. Do these coordinators have control, or are you going, he went back and forth in that press conference. It didn't really make me feel too comfortable.
Is there any players that you think we got to get rid of? This player has to go. We cannot have this guy on our team next year.
Yeah, Maddox got to go. Bradbury got to go.
Maddox?
No, yeah. I mean, how can you keep Maddox? How? Isaiah Rodgers is coming in. I don't. Maddox. He's just hurt too much, man.
Right.
It's too much. You gonna extend him in a new contract? What are you gonna do?
What are your thoughts on? What are your thoughts on Josh Sweat and the year he had?
I think, he was in pass coverage this year as well. And you weren't running any stunts. Your corners are 8 to 10 yards back. I could put a lot of blame into the defensive line, but how are they even supposed to get a pass rush this year? Sweat has gotten better. This is probably one of his worst years. Right. All he's been doing is trending up since he's been drafted, and he just hasn't. Everybody hit a wall. Jalen Carter hit a wall. Everybody. Jordan Davis fell off, and he had a big. He had a interview. After the game, and a couple days after the game, and he even said that he fell off second half of the season. He had a lot of reps this year. We saw a lot of good things from a lot of these players early in the season, but we're going to say Jalen Carter sucks because he kind of he disappeared. You're not running stunts. You're not playing your linebackers downhill. You're not blitzing. You don't know how to blitz. It's so many. When you have these wide receivers and tight ends are literally 4 to 8 yards open. Off the ball, it's hard to get home, and you're not rushing as a unit. It's very. When they blitz, they don't know how to close. Or if they don't, in the pass rush, they don't know how to close. Or if the defensive end goes inside, the offense the quarterback or the running back has outside leverage easy. How many times, So
right.
The coaching aspect, dude. I think Sweat's a good player. I'm not down on Sweat. I'm not down on Jordan Davis like a lot of people are. I think this defensive line, I think you need to add another body there if you're going to add Brandon Graham back. I wonder if Fletcher Cox comes back as a rotational guy that did pretty damn well in a rotation.
He had a good year. Had a very, very good year. I don't know if he comes back either.
Look at Mauro Jomo at the end of the year. They gave him a shot. Look at him. He was making some tackles. He was doing some good things. Milton Williams, if this is a 3-4 base scheme like Milton, Jordan Davis might be your full-time nose. Milton might be the guy on the other side. So, Milton, another player that, has always flashed, never really had the big opportunity. I think the trenches are good. I know with both sides, they just need to add another body. If they're bringing Graham back, maybe Cox comes back and they get a mid-tier name in free agency, then great. Get another guy on the edge, because Nolan Smith, I don't know what they're going to do with him. Unfortunately, I don't know if they're going to put him as an outside linebacker. I don't know what they're doing. I know in the scheme he'd be an outside linebacker. I don't know how they want to use him. I'm not sure. So we're just gonna have to see.
Yeah. It's surprising. I looked it up. Nakobe Dean, they have him listed 5'11", 229 at the combine. I can't believe he's 229. I wonder if he bulked up for that weigh-in because it didn't look like it. Patrick Queen, though, he was 6 foot 229. So, and then like I said, if you can find the actual measurements for Ray Lewis at the combine, it'll be 6 foot 235. But yeah, it's interesting.
Well, sorry.
The only reason I'm bringing it up is because there are a lot of people saying that Trotter isn't big enough to play in the NFL. He's 6 foot 235. I think he's big enough.
No, look at. I mean, I know it's just preseason, but look at Dean's rookie year. Even in the preseason games, when they were using him like aggressively, like they were putting him through the line, and he was making some good tackles.
He showed some flash. I think he's shown some flashes, especially in the run. When he gets a play downhill and he can attack, he hasn't been bad. The biggest problem with Dean, I thought he wasn't good in pass coverage.
No.
And I think he can't stay healthy, but he has to play. I am not ready to say he's a bust. When I talk about two linebackers, you need two linebackers whether he can play or not. You need linebackers because we have none. Really, we have none.
Nothing.
We don't even have. We have two guys signed. Like do we have only two linebackers signed?
Ben Van Sumeren and Nakobe Dean.
That's it. That's our only off the ball linebackers. Vincent Rice Diver Super Chat. He goes, Brian Dawkins for defensive coordinator would have been better hire than Fangio. I mean, I love Brian. I don't know. I don't know. The Eagles they want specific guys. You know what I'm saying?
They're hiring experience. That's what they're hiring right now. And since Fangio was in the building in 22, didn't Fangio leave the Eagles right before the Super Bowl?
Yeah. Yeah, because he thought that the Eagles thought that Gannon was coming back.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. That's who they wanted to hire. They had him as a consultant all year,
right?
So that he could take over if Gannon left, and then Gannon screwed him. That's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Venom Revenge. Welcome to Dingbat Nation, buddy. Thank you so much. Jeff saw raised measure 8.5 inches. Okay.
Damn.
Hey, God, David Super Chat. He goes, how would you feel if we had a linebacker room with Dean, White, and Queen? I like the idea of Queen. I really would like Queen. White, I'm okay with. I just wonder if he's not on the other side of his career. You know?
That's the thing we have to find out. Yeah.
Here's an interesting. It's a year for Jordan. No more excuses. I agree. To me, this is a make or break year for Jordan Davis. What do you think, Joe?
No, I agree. I mean, it's hard. It's hard because did you really get the best out of your players last year? I mean, that's why I feel like they didn't get. I mean, everybody. Every position was fragmented defensively and with the scheme that they were playing and switching DCs throughout the year. I mean, it's hard for me to say that this year counted, but it definitely did, in some aspect they were playing. But we're hopefully with a good off season, the coaching aspect changes, accountability, and things get more serious. Yeah. I think he's going to have a good third year. Hoping.
Yeah. Death Row South, David Super Chat goes, the reason the linebackers were so bad was because they had first-year linebacker coach out of Temple. DJ Elliott was awful at Temple, and it was awful for us.
Who hired these coaches? Seriously,
I don't know. See, that's the thing. If you look at so many of their coaches, they're all
young,
lack experience. I mean, like Sirianni going through like the tough times and the losses. There was no coordinator with experience to kind of help them through it. They're all young guys. I think that was a mistake,
Crazy.
Yeah. Go F Yourself says, another big problem is the talent that we do draft isn't being coached up to be better.
Hopefully it changes. That's what we're hoping.
Yeah, it's true. He's right. He's right. I really wonder, like, man, I feel like Jordan Davis is like, he looked so good early in the year. Like, it was like he looked so good early in the year. And then he ran down Josh Allen. And that was all he had. It was, when he's laying there on the ground like this, that he's saying my season's over. My season is over. I think
he had 2.5 sacks. I think his last sack, or at least his last sack, was like I think the Miami game, and then after that, I think he really do too much after that. But we didn't expect him. We expected him to be a good run stuffer. We didn't expect him to be a pass rusher and fuck.
Right.
We didn't expect that. But then they started to like single block him. They weren't even doubling him at certain moments, and man, he was damn
right. Yeah.
Crazy.
Tortiville says Howie doesn't draft star player sons like Asante Samuel's son, Jeremiah Trout's son. He only drafts sons of middle of the road guys like Rager. So if Mark Simonell has a son, we might draft him. Dude, I hated Mark Simonell. I could not stand Simonell. Oh my God. Well, listen, here's the thing. I talk Jeremiah Trotter because that's the name that has, a lot of connections to the Eagles. But at the end of the day, just get the best linebacker. I don't care who it is. Just get the right guy,
I get it.
Non-killer says they have Ray listed at 72.4 inches, which is 6'3".
Yeah, that's why they list him at 6'1", because they round it, so it shouldn't be rounded
off. 6'3", whatever. Yeah.
And you gotta think of this too, between the hirings of a lot of coaches too, is that you're hiring coaches, even like if you're hiring Joe Barry or guys that at the linebacker coaches, you're hiring guys that have been head coaches. They've had a lot of head coaching jobs. They've had a lot of positional coaching jobs. So that you can have guys for a long time. If you get a young guy, that gets some early success within in 2 years, potentially you're losing them. I didn't, that's why it makes me nervous at coordinator, because if Nick has nothing to bring to the table, and say Cliff Kingsbury comes in here and does well and says, I'm going to be a head coach again, then you're back to square one. You're back to square one of losing your main play caller.
Yeah. I'm 74 inches. That's like 6'2". So 6'1", 73. So they're just rounding it up. Yeah. He's in between. He's like 6 foot and a half. Is what he basically was. But it doesn't even matter. We're fighting over 1 inch. All my point I was trying to make is that in terms of size, Jeremiah Trotter can play in this league. That's all I'm trying to say. He can play in this league, and we'll see if he can play in his league, but it's not because of size that's going to hold him back. It's gonna be interesting. Stuart Bradley, oh God, yeah, Stuart Bradley. We've had some really bad linebackers. The thing is I don't know if you remember, but like back in the day, when I was growing up, it was good linebackers all the time. You had Seth Joyner, and you had Byron Evans, and you had Willie T, and then you had Carlos Emmons and Trotter, and then it went to hell, and it was like Stuart Bradley, Mark Simonell, and then all the bums that we've pretty much had. And then if you think about it, the 2 years that it seems like our linebackers are decent, we go to the Super Bowl. Seriously, we do. Bradham came in 2017, had a career year with us. He had a great Nigel Bradham had a great year.
Yeah.
Go to the Super Bowl, win it. I thought the linebacker play last year I thought TJ Edwards was really good. But go to the Super Bowl. So I don't understand where they like get off, or why I don't know why they think that I don't know why they think voiding linebacker is a good thing. And how he can say, well, we believe in the guys we have, but you don't have any guys. You have one guy, Nakobe Dean. Who else did you have? You had to go sign these guys. You bring in Morrow, he stinks. You bring in Cunningham. I mean, I thought he was serviceable. And then who I forget the guy's name that they brought in and decided he wanted to retire. and then goes and signs with Pittsburgh.
Miles Jack.
Miles Jack. Sydney Family, David Super Chat. He goes, I like Jalen Ford, 6'3", 242 Texas, but I know people are on Trotter. I like Trotter because Trotter's name, but I don't. At the end of the day, by the time the draft comes, we'll see. I just want a linebacker. I want linebackers that can play. I mean, dude, look at every team that's playing right now.
I know.
They all got linebackers. Except for maybe Detroit. Detroit's defense stinks. You know? Splenda says 500 to 4. First 4 picks of the draft need to be defense. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, that's never going to happen, but...
yeah. Let's see. Morrow is a good player. He's just not a number 1. Yeah, he's a backup. Vincent writes, David Super Chat. He goes, I know I want to try Junior, but what do y'all think about Tommy Eckenberg out of Ohio State and Kelly Moore, the for offensive coordinator, will be our best bet out of everybody? Kelly Moore.
Yeah, Eckenberg I haven't looked at yet. I haven't looked at him.
Yeah, I have to go back. My college football season is getting ready to start real soon. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see. The thing is we know we need linebackers. We now have a defensive coordinator, so we kind of can start to figure out what Fangio likes to do and players he likes. I think linebacker is a position. I don't think Fangio is coming in and going to let Howie, and Howie's going to just be like, you're taking the linebackers I'm giving you. I think he's going to I think Fangio is going to actually have more power than Nick Sirianni.
Oh, yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah, I think they're putting a lot of trust into Fangio. I mean, as soon as Fangio parted ways, and I think this was obviously planned for a while. I mean, Fangio parts ways, and Miami did as well. Like, they both agreed to it. They were welcome to it. So they didn't waste any time to get this done. And he was in Philadelphia the next day. I mean, right. You know, so this was already on the table. You know, I know a lot of people were pissed. It's like, oh, you know, we're getting Martindale in here. We're getting Ron Rivera. And then all of a sudden Fangio parts ways and boom, he's hired. He's hired within not even 2 days.
Yeah, he parts ways. The Eagles delay the press conference. And that's it. It's all she wrote. South Jersey says, shit, 500. We should have just kept it. Yeah, we should have kept Edwards. I mean, we talked about that a million times on here. For what he got in Chicago and the year he had, I agree. They should have. Hulk Mercenary, remember for 32 months. Thank you so much. He goes, if you want a linebacker, check out Edrin Cooper. I'm going to go check him out because I have heard his name so much, you know. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Do you think what do you asked me like what I thought they would do splash right? Like, what do you think that they're looking to do? Like, what do you think they're going to do in terms of free? Like, where do you think they're going to target?
I mean, I think I think there's going to be an offensive lineman in there. I think they'll always get a trench guy within the first 3 rounds. They'll get a trench guy, whether it's offensive lineman or defensive lineman. But I think it really depends on what they do in free agency when it comes to the safety, and when it comes to middle linebacker as well, just for the linebacker spot in general. Because even if when you look at safety right now, like Byard's a big cap casualty, they get a big chunk of change out of. You have Reed Blankenship. To this point, I don't know if he's even a starting safety as a backup. I know he'll make the roster, no doubt. But even with Sidney Brown being out, which really sucks because he's more of a hybrid player, then hopefully they turn him into that because he would be perfect for Fangio's scheme. He would be perfect, but we'll get him later on. I mean, he's not going to be probably in the season till like October of next year, so he's going to miss a lot of time. He just got the surgery done this morning, actually. So. Yeah,
you're talking we won't know what he has. It's going to take him. He's going to be coming back all next year. So we're going to have to wait 2 years. But it's a shame with him because they should have played him from the get-go. Like, he should have played a lot earlier and developed throughout the course of the year, you know? That's the thing that pisses people off.
If they pay a safety big money, I think they go mid-tier signing at linebacker, and then since Nakobe Dean's come back, they sign a mid-tier cheapish type signing. and then go get your leader in the draft. Not too early, but early. If they sign a Patrick Queen, if they go that direction at linebacker, then I still think they could draft another linebacker, just probably not as high, and maybe go after a mid-tier signing at safety. So I think it just depends what they go after first, what they sign to big money first. I mean, we might be surprised because the Eagles might have a lot more cap space than we figured.
I think they will.
See.
I think they will. Yeah, I think.
But the Eagles never do.
No. The dude says, "Who do you all want for offensive coordinator?" I love the dude. I love that movie. I want Bieniemy. It would be nice to not screen pass every other play. Yeah, the wide receiver screen. Oh my God! And then let's have Devontae Smith block. I feel like they're like, let's run a bubble screen. Okay, it didn't work. Well, let's run it again. That's the least thing they'll think we're going to do. Then they run it again. It doesn't work. They're like, let's run it on the other side. Nobody will see that coming. And it just never works. It's horrible. I personally would like Bieniemy too. I would love,
of course,
that, but I don't know. I mean, we haven't even heard his name.
I thought with Rivera coming here that maybe there was a possibility he might have brought Bieniemy with him, or maybe gave. We know that the Lurie family and Rivera's family are really close. So if he did get hired as DC, I thought that maybe he would have came with him. Maybe, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Grant Rogers says, "Delete me again." I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't delete anybody. I don't know. What are your thoughts on Chase Young, going after Chase Young?
Be interesting. I would be up for it.
That would be very interesting. He has a tremendous amount of talent, but he has not lived up to it yet. But if
stay healthy,
they're willing to be people willing to be patient with Derek Barnett. I mean, come on, let's go take a chance on him.
Yeah,
I think that would be great.
Yeah, I mean, him. I mean, even the guy from the Panthers. We were talking about him. They're in the trade deadline, get more, some defensive line help. So I mean, there's a possibility.
Yeah.
Because I think 49ers have a lot of contract. I mean, they're in negative cap space. I think they're over the cap right now. Obviously, they're way over the cap. I think I checked it for a second. They were over the cap.
Well, they don't have a coach and stuff, I'm surprised they didn't give Bieniemy the job. That, to me, I would have given Bieniemy the job. I don't know. I think he's deserving of a head coaching job. And that's the only issue I have with a Bieniemy or a young guy is I get really sick and tired that we get these coordinators for 1 year and then they leave.
Oh, look, Washington's interesting. Obviously new owner. They want to kind of reset everything. Bieniemy doesn't get the head coaching job. Ben Johnson's going to be there now. So at this point, it's like maybe Bieniemy will have more of a what's been the biggest weakness for the Commanders. Really, it's been quarterback. They just still haven't found their guy. How much are they going to believe in Sam Howell going to next year? And they kind of pulled the trigger after we beat them the second game, and they got rid of Montez Sweat, they got rid of Chase Young, and they just started to really deteriorate at that point.
See, I don't think Sam Howell's that good. I think Bieniemy made him better than what he is.
The scheme made him better.
Yeah, I think Bieniemy. I would love to see Bieniemy, but Bieniemy, in my opinion, Bieniemy should have been a coach 2 years ago. But I really think I think he should have been a coach.
Bieniemy with that big play sheet that's like 5 feet long. That guy has full control over what he does with that offense. And no one interrupts that guy when he's in his mode. So
I like him. My only issues with a guy like that is that you're probably only going to get him for a year, and then he's
I know.
Maybe
That's
what I hate. I mean, we get robbed of our coordinators anytime we go to the Super Bowl, and it's always the Colts. Pisses me off. Dad says Josh Allen Jags. I like that.
Look, this is why you hire more experienced guys that have been head coaches a few times or have been positional coaches or OCs or DCs a lot.
Right.
This way, they really aren't interested in years later, not interested in going to a big position anymore. You can have these guys a lot longer. That's why I really wanted a head coach that called plays. I wanted, look, you look at the playoffs right now, like you have a Jason Garrett type coach with Nick Sirianni right now. Okay. That's just also, he's spirited right now. You look at Andy Reid and you look at, Andy Reid's hands-on, Shanahan, he's hands-on. And whether your other two coaches, Harbaugh, they're cheerleader coaches. I mean, that's what they are. I mean, it can work, but Nick, that presser really, it's just, he was saying one thing and then said something totally different regarding the same subject. It really annoyed me.
Yeah. Well, the thing is you get a guy like, with a head coach that can actually call plays. Even if you lose your coordinator, you got something there. If the Eagles lose their coordinator, you got Nick Sirianni. And that's scary.
Colin Cowher said this perfectly because he's been like kind of rooting for the Eagles all year. And I think the lap before the loss, he's like, if Nick's on the hot seat, like even like if you lose coordinators, your offense should not change this much. It should look that's the problem. And what happened was, it might have got to Nick's head for all the success and thought, you know what, I could do this. Why can't I do this? And because you hired all these young coaches around Nick, you couldn't even fix the problem the last 7 weeks because what higher expertise is over Nick Sirianni to tell him like, hey, like, let me take over this offense for this week. And we haven't seen a full game from Brian Johnson. We didn't see a full game, from Sean Desai. Even this is Sean Desai's defense, but this was Nick's defense that he wanted some idiot to run it. That was under the coach that he wanted that he never got, and Vic Fangio. Right. I'm gonna stop.
Our Junior says Rivera would have been better than Fangio, in my opinion. Yeah, we agree. We agree. But they, it wasn't going to go that way. Go F yourself says, but Reddick is gone. No, I don't think Reddick is gone. No. Reddick is going to want a raise. Reddick is going to want to redo his contract. I think the Eagles are going to have to do something with him. And I think they will. I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, if you were to lose Reddick, you're losing. I mean, dude, you're losing your best pass rusher. Yeah. The Eagles value pass rusher too much to get rid of him, I think, Yeah. Ziggy says, remember for 32 months, says Bieniemy had a 63-39 pass run ratio. I don't know. He also, what was that last year? Or is that just in his or is that in the terms of his whole his career as offensive coordinator?
I thought they ran the ball a lot last year.
Well, because when he's coaching Kansas City, of course you're going to throw with Patrick Mahomes and the offenses that he's had. So if that's just Washington, that's a lot. But I like Bieniemy. I do. Bobby Digital, David Super Chat. He goes, hire Bieniemy next year. Promote him to head coach. That's a good idea. Could you imagine?
There's got to be backup plans going into when they
hire.
Last
year, he said, "Wow, that surprises me. That really surprises me."
Interesting.
Yeah. Nick was terrified and terrible. He reports right to Jeff Lurie. They want fresh ideas. See someone's not on our radar. No, it did look bad. It did, Bieniemy gets a shot head coach, and Nick will coach the cheerleaders. Man, it's crazy, right? Z says 60% with the Chiefs in 2022. I could see the Chiefs though with Patrick Mahomes,
of course,
and also with Andy. Sam Howell led the league in passing yards, didn't he? He was up there. He was up there. He showed flashes of looking really good.
Mm-hmm.
He did. See, I would get a great defensive coordinator. You have enough offense. You just need to be cleaned up. We got Fangio. And so now the question is going to be defense. I think offensively, I think the right guard spot is really the biggest question, right? I think, well, you need a running back, right? So we're going to have to get a running back. I hope Swift comes back, but you need a running back.
Yeah.
You're going to, the right guard spot's kind of open. And, assuming Kelsey retires, I don't know what he's going to do. So.
Well, wide receiver 3 and
wide receiver
obviously
3. Yeah.
backup right tackle. I mean, you need to see what you have after Lane Johnson leaves in a couple of years. Like that's a whole another issue. Like I think with Tyler Steen, they should really try. I mean, play him at right tackle, play him on the opposite side. I mean, they have him at left tackle, right guard, mostly right. They want to try to put him as a right guard, but why not put him as a right tackle as well? I mean, shit, might as well.
I wonder if they could do something where they, and this is just off the wall thought. I don't know if they could get somebody, that they could hire offensive coordinator and say, you'll give us at least 3 years, 2-3 years minimum, I wonder if there's some sort of deal they can make like that, because I hate losing our coordinators so quick. I don't think so either. No, I don't think so either. When you get, I think in the NFL, if you have a chance to go up, then they have to let you. Chris says, imagine Jim Harbaugh would have done with the Eagles. Well, that's who I wanted. If we had a choice to do this all over, and you could pick a coach, I would have loved Harbaugh, but he has to have complete control. I think he got complete control with the Chargers, so the Eagles aren't going to give him that. Mal, David Super Chat goes, if Cliff comes, Lincoln Riley will be here next year. Interesting.
Yeah, they work together.
Yeah. Splendid says 500. I feel like the scheme still doesn't work with Fangio. Then this is the last year with it. I would think so. I mean, right? Wouldn't you think so?
Yeah, I mean, how much time are they giving Fangio to are they saying, hey, there's some moves that you can make, and I don't know. They give a coach 1 year because you have an offense that's pretty much already set right now. I don't know. I mean,
so you expect most of the money to go into the defense, then through free agency, and then I'm thinking the way I kind of think they might do this is I wouldn't be surprised to see how we try to fill holes, on defense in free agency, and then use the draft to start getting linemen and running back and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're gonna. I think you're gonna put money into your. I think you'll put more money into your defense, no doubt, in free agency. But I still think they're gonna draft, even if you draft someone in the mid to late rounds for more depth, or you feel like something could be promising, after a year, or who knows. But I can go either way. But I think obviously defense, you need. That's where you're getting all your money back. Because more guys are leaving on your defense this year. So
yeah. Philly fan says 500. Is there any possibility they bring back Frank Reich as offensive coordinator? I thought, and so far Frank Reich said they haven't reached out to him, but I would think that he's the kind of guy that Nick would be happy with and the front office would be happy with, and he's not going anywhere for years. Nobody's going to hire him as a head coach anytime soon.
Or maybe the front office doesn't want Frank. Maybe Nick wants Frank in the front office that wants more of a new sound in mind.
I don't believe Nick Sirianni has any say in the coordinators.
No, I don't believe. No, definitely not. I don't think so either.
So, and if we know Howie and Laurie, they want the top young offensive mind with the top new concepts. So I don't think they're going to go after Frank Reich. I think it's good. I think a guy like Kingsbury has a much better chance.
Big shot. He's a huge shot.
Think he is. Yeah. Coyote David Super Chat goes, Philly 500, you're okay for an Eagles dude. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I don't want Kellen Moore either because the Cowboys already know how to all his weaknesses.
Yeah, Ken Dorsey's another one. He's the one that was the offensive coordinator for the Bills before he was switched after that Denver loss this past year with Joe Brady. So
yeah, do I really want that? He got switched.
No.
I'm more interested in Brady.
Yeah, true.
Maurice Steele, David Super Chat goes, imagine getting Odell Beckham Jr. for wide receiver number 3. He'll be a lot cheaper now because nobody's going to pay him $18 million like Baltimore did. They're going to have to do something at the wide receiver 3 position, Yeah. Des says, go Lions. Absolutely. I will be streaming both games tomorrow. Joey, if you want to come hang out at any time, you're more than welcome.
All right.
But, I'm going to be rooting for Baltimore, and I'm going to be rooting for the Lions. I would like to see new teams in it, Yeah, there's rumors that Chip Kelly's going to come back, go to Seattle, I think, possibly. So, as an offensive coordinator. So, we'll see. But I mean, is there anything else to talk about? I mean, we're almost an hour and a half in. Holy crap! I got carried away here.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, there's a lot. It's a lot happened this week. It's been a lot. You know, the moves have happened, and not every move has happened yet. You know, because we don't know what they're going to be interested in. We don't know who's going to be linked to players going to be linked to the Eagles until we know who the coordinators are going to be. So now, since we have our defensive coordinator now Fangio will hire his own coaching staff, and which I think he has 100% control over. And we'll just see what happens within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Frank says, if Nick shits the bed, pause. Is Fangio? I think that's what they would do. Yeah, I think Fangio could just slip right in there. Elaine says, I'm so sick of AJ Brown's situation. He's not going to. I don't know why people are talking about trading AJ Brown. It's not even a remote possibility that happens. He's not going anywhere. So I wouldn't worry about it. I just think people are, especially the radio, I think they're just trying to stir people up and get people all crazy with something to talk about. But why would you trade AJ Brown? It would absolutely do nothing for you. Nothing. This team is closer to being a Super Bowl contender than not. And he's 26 years old? He's still in the no, you don't trade AJ Brown. No.
Not this time.
Don't even worry about that. I won't even do a video on it. The only way I'm gonna do a video on AJ Brown is if it's coming from like an Adam Schefter or something that the Eagles are shopping. But other than that, I'm not listening to it because I just don't believe it. I don't believe it. I think AJ Brown gets a bad rap about everything that happened. I think AJ Brown's a good dude. I think he tried his best to motivate the team. This is a guy that wants to win and was passionate and was showing some heart and was showing something. He was showing us something. Okay, he was frustrated and stuff, but he was showing something, some emotion. You know how many guys didn't even seem to care? AJ Brown wasn't one of those guys. AJ Brown's a good dude. He ain't going nowhere. Ain't no way, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I mean, look what he did this year. I mean, even that we talk about we wouldn't win a lot of games with Jalen Hurts, but you're not winning a lot of games if you didn't have AJ Brown, especially with those, a record that's probably never going to be broken.
I know. Let's bring back James Trash. Maybe we could get, I don't know, Fred X. I mean, we've had so many bad receivers, so many. You get a guy like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. I mean, that is such a great – those are great weapons. You've got to build up around that, not tear it up.
There's a lot of people that just think he's a big – people think that A.J. Brown's just a distraction from what he did with the media for 2 weeks. And, it's just like, dude, like, what is he supposed to do? Like, this is a cry for help from the players, not even the players, but all the leaks from Jalen Hurts meeting with Sirianni and not being on the same page with Brian Johnson Sirianni and saying, hey, we need to do more intermediate routes. We need to work more middle of the field. And Nick's just puts it under the rug. Like, this is a cry for help from the players. And if they're not changing anything, why should A.J. Brown give a shit? He doesn't give a shit about not towards the players, it's towards the coaching staff, even though he says it's not. It's bullshit.
Right. Dude, I mean, it's crazy. I think the media gets pissed off because he won't talk to them, so they want to run him out. It's absolutely insane to me. I mean, I know. Let's bring back J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. JJ Arcega.
Eagle
the umbrella
fans,
man returns.
Eagle fans are very ungrateful, and when they have something good, I don't think they realize it. And then because they have, the Eagles have one really horrible season, or not really horrible because the Eagles were 10-1 and then fucking fell apart after that, and you really see the true colors of fans. It's all about the good times, but when this team goes down in the dirt, I mean, it really does show. And
I was proud of A.J. Brown.
Of course,
I was proud of him. He showed emotion. It mattered to him. He cared. He cared that much. And the reason why he stopped talking was because they went to the coaches and he said everything, and he didn't want to say anything that would do any more damage to what was already going on in that locker room. Right. People need to understand that, I love A.J. Brown. Ethan says, yo, Philly, I fought through my depression thanks to your content. I finally have peace and joy. You both deserve credit, and most of all, God loves you guys. Man, Ethan, that's like the greatest comment, man, we could ever get. We appreciate you, man. I'm glad that you're feeling better, man. I really am. And thank you so much, man. Thank you. Yeah, we could get Jordan Matthews. It's funny to me because people will run AJ Brown out of the city. Yet a guy who stinks like Nelson Stinkelar. He gets 6 years, and people are still telling me he's great.
It's so crazy to where like a player like AJ Brown can't talk to somebody on the sideline, whether it's not an altercation, it's a venting process during the game. Like, hey, I want the ball more. Like, I need more opportunity. And look what happens the next 6 weeks. I mean, 125 plus breaking Calvin Johnson's consistent. I mean, seriously, like, and the media and because the cameras are turned on towards that moment, they paint an ugly picture out of it. And like, I'd rather them not be quiet. I'd rather them talk about it on the sideline and make a fun. I mean, I don't care. Like, look, if you're like starting a game, it's in the moment. You're emotional. You're like, everybody just wants to win the game. They don't even care about the statistics. But if you're not getting any catches and the offense is struggling, I don't blame him. And look what he's done. It's crazy, dude.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to go back to where we remember the 1 year with Wentz. We didn't have one receiver over like 500 yards. Who wants that? AJ Brown's a stud. You AJ Brown and Devontae Smith showed you he's a number 1, 2 in that playoff game. Okay, you have to build around that. That is your bread and butter. That's your ticket back to the bowl. Build around that kind of talent because it's not going to always be there.
100%.
At some point, they're going to have to pay Devontae Smith, and that's going to kick, and it's going to be too much. So we got to enjoy it. James, a member for 27 months. Thank you so much, man, for your support. He goes, so Phil, who you got tomorrow in Super Bowl winner? I think the 49ers. I think the 49ers and the Chiefs are going to win, to be honest with you. I'm rooting for the Ravens and the Lions. But
Same.
I think that's going to be the outcome. And then I think the Chiefs will win the Super Bowl again. Unfortunately, I don't want that, but that's what I feel like. So I hope the Lions and the Ravens, I'm going to be rooting to hell for both of those tomorrow,
Yeah, same thing. I'm on the same
yeah.
boat.
Anthony, they were super chat. He goes, I get Buda Baker, Patrick Queen, Trotter Jr. I like it. Anthony. I like it. And thank you for super chat. Death Row South says, Hurts will have a monster year next year because Sirianni won't be in charge of making play calls.
I believe it. I believe it.
Listen, Jalen Hurts to me, AJ Brown, those are the least of our problems. Like, they're not problems to me at all. You had a team that was 10-1, 2 games up of first, and they quit. And AJ Brown is screaming for them to come back to life, doing whatever he can. And then people get mad at him.
Yeah, and then like after a while, if the players aren't listening and you're trying to get play, and you're before the last the second Giants game, the last game of the season, he had multiple meetings with the players during the week and said we need to start believing in this coaching staff. But a lot of the players had issues, and not only the play of the year, but they had issues with practices and how it transfers from practices to these games every week.
Yep. John Doe says Hurts, but you just want Kenny Pickett. Come on. You just like Kenny Pickett. Fabio Williams. Kenny's obsessed with Kenny Pickett. It's hilarious. Fabio David Super Chat goes, at times AJ does not block or try at times. So we're going to trade him? What are you going to trade him? I don't know.
Your offense.
I don't know,
dude. Like,
really?
but
that's what we're gonna blame.
Number one,
let's do a super chat. By the way,
let's be fucking real. Okay, half the people probably in this chat probably didn't play. Probably has not played one bit of football in their life. I'm not trying to put it towards anybody, but when you're on a team that's getting their ass kicked every single week, the frustrations are going to come a lot faster when it starts to happen again. These players start getting excited during the week. Oh, new week. We're getting excited. Practice was great. And then they get into these games and just to the fucking ground, the morale is just, it's just so, I mean, and how they started not to respond when a team would score off a turnover or the other team would just score and, it's just, there's no answer. There was just no answer and it got worse and the coaching staff just kept it the same. I mean, just go through that as a player. It's gotta be, there's only so much you could do.
I mean, if you look at all the players, as far as I'm concerned, except for maybe a couple, like a Devontae Smith, I say a lot of them gave up. I mean, especially look at the defense. Look at the half-ass tackling and playing they did. If we're going to talk about guys who are not playing every down, you could say that whole defense, get rid of everybody. There's a lot bigger problems besides A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown, you want to build upon. You know, it's crazy to me. You got something so special in A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and we don't even know it. And we had bad coaching, and they weren't able to take advantage of it. But now if you get the right coaches, you're going to see these guys go to another level. Chris says, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I'm just saying, you see these other players around the league. You think A.J. Brown did what he was? He was trying to stop himself from regretting what he was going to say to the fucking media. Like literally, like you see what these other players are doing around the league. They'll throw coaches under the bus. They'll throw players under the bus. Right. I mean, it's worse, dude. It's worse than what A.J.'s doing.
A.J. Brown cares, man. He cares, and he wants to win. And I can deal with a guy like that. I can deal with a guy. I can deal with a guy that wants the ball in big moments. I like those kind of guys. Give me players like that. Chris says, you guys still saying trade AJ to build the D, aka the Chiefs. Only issues, we don't have Mahomes. Well, what? Because they gave Tyreek Hill up? No. Listen, Tyreek Hill almost set records. You know, if Tyreek Hill doesn't play if Tyreek Hill's still in the Chiefs, I hate to tell you, the Chiefs are still winning Super Bowls. You get rid of A.J. Brown to build a defense. Who's drafting the players? Howie Roseman is going to draft. I think it's crazy. The best defense is a good offense. I think it's crazy. A.J. Brown is going nowhere.
Everything's blown out of proportion from a bad. Yeah, it's the biggest choke we've seen from this team. But now a lot of moves. It's not like they're keeping. They kept Brian Johnson. Or they kept Sean Desai. You know, it's not. They're making big changes right now. We don't know what the final product is going to be. We have a long way to go, but we'll find out the first few weeks of the season. We'll know the answer. Oh, yeah. We'll find out easily. If the first 4 games, if they don't have a game where they don't play full, not perfect quarters, but productive quarters of football and don't look like they're out of whack, I'm going to start to believe that they're getting up there. They're starting to, the coaching is better. We'll find out. I think they have to bring minicamp back. The offseason program has to change. They can't keep these starters away from each other for weeks. There's just no way they can afford to do that. I'm not saying practice so tough at minicamp because you still have a long off season, but the guys have got to be in the building and they got to be doing things.
So I agree. Beast Guard David Super Chat goes, I'm going to be honest, I'm not a fan of Jalen Hurts, but was not to blame for this year. He showed he can ball with the right system. We went away from that. Well, I appreciate you.
I agree.
I appreciate that and respect that definitely. I feel like the thing with Jalen is if you put him in a situation and you give him good coaching and you got players around him, he can win the big game for you. He can come up big and clutch. He can be clutch.
Sorry. I'm in the car.
No. I'm done. No, I was just gonna say it's not like Dak Prescott where he puts up all these big numbers and then he throws pick sixes and looks like crap in the playoffs. Jalen Hurts is the complete opposite of that.
Well, I mean, even look too. Look what you did the first 4 to 5 games, literally. You took away the third element, the best element of his game, which was his running attack, and you messed up his knee. You got him. You ran too many QB draws. You ran with him way too much. He got hit so many times. Don't let the offense work for you. Don't let it work for Jalen Hurts. But losing his speed was a huge factor, which really handicapped him to stay in the pocket more. And I thought throughout the gauntlet, he stayed in the pocket and he played pretty damn well. But it only going to last so long when you're not playing no complete first halves. You're not even productive in the first halves, and you have to put more pressure on your offense to get back into these games, which they did a fantastic job in doing. It's cool to see. It's a fun game to watch and a heart attack. But do you really want to go through that every season?
And if you look in the Tampa game, Bowles was blitzing them. Did you hear? I think it was Malatas or there's Landon Dickerson saying we've never seen those blitzes coming. They were so unprepared for the blitz and for certain situations that I just think it really, really affected Jalen Hurts. I do. I think he's the least of our problems, in my opinion. Chris says exactly 500. Who's drafting these players we get for AJ? Howie, who doesn't have a great track record. Yeah. Howie's going to trade AJ Brown and then draft, I don't know, Charlie Arcega-Whiteside, the next great wide receiver with no speed. I mean, come on. I think a lot of people are scarred by the TO stuff that happened. When he was doing sit-ups in his driveway and stuff, but AJ Brown, that it was nothing like that. It was nothing like that. You know what I mean? Anyways, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Nuts. It's gonna be nuts.
Yeah,
no doubt.
But we'll see. I don't even know what you would get for AJ Brown. What are you gonna get?
Your
first round pick? 2 picks?
1, 2, maybe
you think 2
more.
First?
2 first and some mid rounders, a 2 first and a second, and I'll call it a deal. I'm not even kidding, dude. Like, you're not. If you're gonna give him up, it's gotta be a lot.
No, but what would they like? Realistically, what would they get for him? I'm not saying I would do it, but I'm just saying when people talk about trading him, what are the people asking back? A first round pick? I mean, you gave a first round pick 2 years ago, and you paid him a bunch of money. So to me, you'd have to get more than that. You'd have to get more than that.
Depending on how much, like, if they're going to take the whole contract or not.
I don't know. Is team going to give you 2 ones, and then where are the ones? Like now, I need a top 10 pick.
If you need him right now to get you in a Super Bowl, like, you're taking their first this year, and you might take a first. Who knows? Maybe a first next year, or maybe maybe a second next year, maybe a first after that. Who knows?
KC got 2 ones for Tyreek Hill. Well, that would have to be the minimum.
Yeah,
but I still wouldn't do it.
I would never do it. I would never do it
either. I'm just curious what people are thinking that they're going to get. I'm against trading AJ Brown. I think if you trade AJ Brown, then you might as well trade Hassan Reddick. You might as well just clean house and start the rebuild.
Throw Nick in there too. Throw Sirianni in there too as a spice.
Right.
Add to the cheerleading practice squad.
125 said we traded for AJ for a first and a third, and he was 1,000-yard receiver. If we trade him away, we need at least 2 ones. Now he's a 14. Yeah, you would need at least 2, and I still would reject the trade. The team came to me right now and said 2 number 1s for AJ. I'm gonna say no, because this team, listen, with the right offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, the right moves, the right players, this team could be back in the hunt. They could go and compete, especially with the players they have on offense. So no, you're not in rebuild mode. You're in win mode. No, it's not even a thought in my mind. I mean, we've got to. What we've got to do is we've got to expand, and we've got to take the strength of this team, the AJ Brown, the Devontae Smith, the Goddard,
utilize
and we've got to build around it and utilize it. Yes, that has to. Every team that plays the Eagles every week should be scared to death of their offense.
And they weren't. And unfortunately, they weren't, because all they ran was cover zero blitz, because the Eagles don't throw middle of the field, and they know Hurts was going to stay in the pocket. And that's how you beat the Eagles. And Nick did not change one. The one time they threw a pass middle of the field was that playoff game, was the Devontae Smith wide open. And look at all those yards he got. I mean, they find what's good, and then they just don't do it ever. They never do it again. It's a headache. Like, Nick Sirianni really pissed me off. Like, he really pissed me off this year.
Dude, every time Devontae Smith ran a slant or a cross route, it was a touchdown. Every time.
Wait,
and he never do it.
Dude, how many times do we ever see these receivers? Like, the route combinations are so bad. How many times do we actually see these receivers have 10 yards of space? On us, it's always big space, chunk yard space. On them, we can't. Yeah. We don't even know how to get these guys in the right position.
It's so stupid. Death Row South, they were super chat. He goes, if people have been watching the last 25 to 30 years, we've never had an elite receiver. And then when we get one, you want to keep trading him. I know, it's crazy to me. It's crazy. The one position that we should be going, all right, we've got to build an offense around this. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, build around it. And when the right guy, and they put those guys in the right position, nobody's going to be able to stop this offense. It's going to be scary. It just is. So no, to me, anytime I hear anything about A.J. Brown,
dude,
I shut it off.
Everybody was bitching and complaining. The DK Metcalf, the Justin Jefferson, and then we draft Devontae Smith. They didn't even use him as a number one. They didn't even use him as a number one in 21. They treated Quez as a number one over him. And then finally you get A.J. Brown, and look, I mean. And you have a bad fucking year with the coaching that we have had this year. And there's so many problems there's so many bigger problems behind the scenes. All you're doing is looking at the play and saying, oh, that player sucks. But dude, look at what they're dealing with.
Dude, I will burn my house down. I will burn this shit to the ground if they trade A.J. Brown. I will go. You will see a side of me you don't like, because it will be bad. I'm going to go into I'm going to a very deep and dark, evil place if that
happens. And look, like I for myself only, like I said, like after that Cowboys loss, like I would say I'm going to turn into the most realistic, probably a fan that probably no one is going to like, because like you can't walk on eggshells with what's really going on. Like the last 7 weeks, like this shit was no joke. This wasn't just, oh, we've had a few bad games. This was the biggest choke, the biggest downfall, the biggest crumble I've ever seen in this franchise. And it's inexcusable to go through to just scoot by the coaching staff and just blame all the players. Like, and I've seen people that do it. I've had fights on live streams.
I know.
It's all 100% Jalen Hurts. I've heard it a million.
No, I know. I know. It's crazy. It really is. Beast Guard David Superchan goes, people don't know how deadly Brown is after the catch. He's one of the best to do it. He doesn't even have to go deep. Just get him a short pass. And that's the thing. Two things I'll say about that. David Superchan. One, nobody could stop him running the slant. So why do you not run the slant? Nobody could tackle him. And two, not only is A.J. Brown big and physical, but A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith are very complementary. They're complementary receivers. They fit so well together. You've got to take advantage of it. Sorry, I'm joking. I'm getting all worked up here, Joey.
He's getting
I'm getting all mad because of this A.J. Brown stuff. It drives me nuts. Fabio Davis Super Chat. He goes, how long should players stay since Pat's traded? Since the Pats traded? Since the Patriots used to trade all sorts of players. But, they had Tom Brady and they won and they had a whole different thing going.
Yeah.
The Eagles have something that not a lot of teams have. Two elite number ones, two true number ones that are totally different than each other. You've got to take it. You've got to build around that. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. The Brown stuff is insane. It's insane.
Just make a 3-hour video.
I've avoided talking about it. Like I don't even want to bring it to the surface. The only way I'm going to mention is if do a video on it is if it's like Adam Schefter or somebody that I think is like there's some truth to it, because the stuff right now is just like trade. I saw like Eagles should trade AJ Brown to the Colts. For what? What are you?
Oh, there was people online like from bigger channel. Like there's people online that were like going over like Hurts' contract. Well, if they trade Hurts, they could take over this amount. I'm like, dude, why are we even talking about trading? Like everyone's skipping the coaching. Everyone's skipping what the real problem is, and it's crazy, dude.
I refuse to talk about it. Show enough, thank you. He said AJ on the field stops defensive for putting 8 in a box as well. I know. The Eagles haven't even utilized AJ Brown and Devontae Smith together at all. They didn't even know how to use them. That's what's so frustrating. Imagine when you get somebody in here, and that's one of the reasons why I'm going to be interested in Bieniemy.
We got some news.
Oh, yeah.
We got what? A golden nugget. No. Howard Eskin.
Don't tell me it's AJ Brown's getting traded. I'm gonna really lose them.
No. No, I would laugh first. Just says, yeah. Howard Eskin says after Kellen Moore spoke with the Eagles on Friday, it appears the team is close to making him the team's new OC. Yeah.
Let's just hope that's not right. Howard Eskin has been wrong.
What did he say? What did he say last time? The last Howard Eskin thing we talked about. What was the last thing we talked about from Howard Eskin? And we were like, oh, you remember you talked about, if it's Howard Eskin saying it, you kind of got, kind of got to credit him. What was the last news that was probably it was recent, wasn't it? What the fuck was it?
I don't remember. I hope that's not the case.
So, I mean, they try Kellen Moore tried to get the head coaching job in 21 as well. I mean, I know the Eagles brought him in for an interview that year too, just for the head coaching job. But I went over his statistics with the Chargers, and he did run the ball a lot. But
he ran the ball out with who? Because he didn't run it in Dallas.
No. With the Chargers, he did. I have to go get the stat because I did the video and I had the stat sheet on screen. I have to go over it again. But...
I think if honestly, I think if Kellen Moore's offensive coordinator, I think that's the final nail in the coffin of Nick Sirianni, dude. He's done.
That looks like it's. I mean, if Nick is going to put his own ideas into the offense and help out with the new ideas, then it's got to be on him that he's got to be the one hiring the OC.
Why would you bring the OC of the Cowboys in? They know him too. I mean, we'll see how it turns out, but is it just Eskin saying it?
Let's see. There's a bunch of other channels that are saying that's from him saying it. So yeah, there's nothing else right now.
No, we'll see. I mean, we'll see.
It's not coming. It's not coming from anybody else besides Howard Eskin. So
he just said that they're close. He didn't say that they signed, right?
No, it's just that I read today that the big rumors and this from Jay Fowler from ESPN, he says that Cliff Kingsbury is the leading candidate right now. That was from today. That Cliff Kingsbury is at the top of the list at OC right now. That was from Jay Fowler and a couple other ESPN guys. So
we'll see. Listen. It doesn't excite me. I mean,
no, it doesn't.
I'm not saying we'll see what he does. I mean, I really got to go look at what he did with the Chargers and Herbert last year. I mean, Herbert is one of the most talented quarterbacks in the National Football League. What kind of year did those receivers have? What did they do? We'll have to see. I can tell you that Cowboy fans would love this because they don't think he's that good. So
yeah, I agree.
I mean, we'll find out. Best guard, David goes, the slants, we never threw it or the lob in the easy. No, never. Nothing like that. Everything was a stupid bubble screen. CT, David Super Chat. He goes, just tuning in. What do y'all think of Kingsbury report of being a top target? And subscribe, you guys. Like and subscribe, you guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, I like King. I actually would like the idea of Kingsbury. Joey, I think you said the same thing,
Yeah,
right?
he's probably my top. Other than Bieniemy, I think he's my top guy.
Yeah,
Realistically,
I like
yeah.
him. Thank you for super chat. Lee Bundy, a member for 6 months. He says Kellen Moore mocking Michael A. Where's the fitness? Kellen Moore. Yeah, I know. Ugh.
He used a lot of RPO with Dak Prescott. I mean, I know he was way too pass happy. I mean, the most rushes that they used when he was the Cowboys OC was with. I mean, he had a lot of. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott got the ball a lot with him, no doubt.
I know that one of the things that I just know that the last year they made the change. I know that the head coach of the Cowboys thought that he didn't run enough, and that was one of the complaints. I know the Cowboy fans have complained for years that they don't run the ball enough.
Well, how many years was he OC for? Because I think they only ran with Zeke 90.
I don't remember.
I don't know how many times they ran.
3 or 4.
I don't know how many times.
But listen, I mean, here's the good thing. In terms of the league and the NFL and how teams look at coaches, he's considered one of the top young minds out there in terms of offensive coordinator. So, I mean, am I going to say it's all, it's all going to hell, everything's bad? No. It just doesn't excite me, but we'll see. Like I said, your bread and butter is that Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, you gotta use those guys and utilize them. If he can come in and utilize the talent that is around this team, we'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best roster. Offensively, he's probably gonna draw plays up for. I mean, in his career. So
yeah, I know that Herbert had an off year. Yeah. I know he did get injured, but I mean, he's a hell of a talent. That's why I think he's going to be scary. Jim Harbaugh, I think they're going to be scary in a few years, dude. But we'll see. Howard Eskin said it. We'll see what happens. I'm not gonna trash Moore. I don't like. It's not the worst thing, but it's not. It's kind of like I'm kind of in between on it.
Right.
Beast Guard David Super Chat goes, if that O can't get it together, the tush push to the end zone, right? I know. I mean, that's funny. They don't even talk about the tush push anymore. The last 5 weeks, nobody cared. Ziggy says, I wouldn't be mad. Who else do you want? I really wanted Bieniemy or Kingsbury. But like I said, I'm not.
Yeah, there's been no rumors on Bieniemy.
I'm not gonna hate. No, I don't even think they met with him. I'm not gonna hate it. Am I gonna be super excited? No, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Do I think he's better than what we had? Yes. Do I think he can improve? Yes. The great thing about it is that a lot of people think he's got a really good offensive mind, and he's got tremendous amount of talent. And he did deal with, like you said, with Dak Prescott. So if he can come in and help Hurts, I'm okay with it.
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah,
I'm sure.
So we'll see. I'm not gonna trash him and
I think everyone's like, he's awful. He was with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
He's awful.
Yeah. Well, I don't like that part either. But
I don't either. Right.
But it is what it is. Mingo, Thamer Super Chat goes, bro, we needed Eric Bieniemy or Cliff for offensive coordinator. Vic was a W-2.
See, there's people that like it. There's people that like it. I respect it.
I mean, probably warm up on the idea. I really need to go back and look at the Chargers and what they did and what he did. But I can tell you this. The year that Dak Prescott threw 37 touchdowns. Okay, remember the year he threw 37 touchdowns? CD was like the first or second year. They had Amari Cooper. If he was the offensive coordinator that year, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then maybe that's not that bad. Maybe that's not that bad. And listen, he's got experience. He's been around. I don't know that he's going to get a head coaching job tomorrow. So you might get him for a few years. Hey, look, it might turn out to be a really good idea. maybe I'm not totally opposed to it. Maybe I'm talking myself into it right now.
Well,
I don't know.
You gotta look at the body of work. You just gotta look at the body of work. You can't just look at it from just the standpoint of he was with Dallas and Herbert didn't have a great year. But I think it comes down to what rosters he had and what did he utilize well with the passing game. And I think, the Eagles have had interest in him. They brought him in for an interview. Obviously, both sides have to agree on an interview. He was interviewed for a head coaching job for the Eagles in 21. So, we'll see. I mean, I think it's something we're just have to open up to. And if it happens, it's only being said by Howard Eskin. So I'm trying to figure out the other fucking news that he talked about that we were just talking about last week. Forgot what news that was.
I can't remember.
Gotta go back.
Torreyville David Super Chat goes, Lurie made the offensive coordinator job undesirable by not firing Nick. Nobody wants a job with the front office that meddles and head coach on the hot seat. Moore has to take what he can get now. Yeah, that's a very good point. He's kind of used to it too, really, because the Cowboys do a lot of that meddling too. So yeah, I hear you. It's going to be interesting. That would be an interesting signing,
Yeah.
Really would. Texas Boy is somewhere. I don't know. He'll probably be around during the streams tomorrow. I'm sure he will be. But I mean, I think the Cowboy fans will like that if that happens. I'm not opposed. Like I said, he did have a couple good years with Dak. I know that year that they had Amari Cooper. Lamb was Cedric Wilson. Yeah.
Somebody said in the chat, it was Eskin said last week that that Nick is going to stay with the Eagles. That's what he said.
Oh, yeah. Fuck. Well, he was right about that. So there we go. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I don't know if there's anything else to talk about. Really?
No, we're over 2 hours. We never do shakedowns for this long unless it's the draft. But this was a special edition of every shit going to shit. No. It's just a lot of moving parts right now, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" Everyone's freaking out now. AJ Brown getting traded. Everyone's just losing their minds at this point. Everyone's losing their shit.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy.
And Philly's just gonna rant for another hour, so don't let him do that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining. We appreciate it so much. I'll be streaming tomorrow if you guys want to come hang out, and then we're gonna find out what happens. Should be interesting. You guys take care. We will see you later. Peace.
Got plenty of time.
Come on.
Oh, shit! Dad! No!
It's over! It's over! This game is over! Cut it off! It's over!
Fuck.
Congratulations, Green Bay. Congratulations, Green Bay. Congratulations, Green Bay.
I said run the ball.
Congratulations, Green Bay. Dak Prescott, you need to be fired today. That was on you, Dak. That was on you, Dak. That was on you, Dak.
I said run the ball.
That was on Dak Prescott. Trying to feed the Lamb. You tried to feed the CeeDee Lamb. You got to give it to CeeDee Lamb. God. It's over. It's over, Dak. Put Trey Lance in the game. Trey Lance can't do worse than you.
I'm an idiot because I buy into this shit. Here's the thing. I am a grown-ass man. And I talk the talk. It is killing me.
I feel it coming. I feel like it's going to take Jerry Jones taking. Cut it off. It's over.